Marshall skips away. Marshall skips away. Marshall's still going. Marshall's got Richards coming up outside. Now inside.
Arsenal have gone through an entire league campaign without losing.
Bennett and the Dragons win the grand final.
Whips that one away, and Kane Williamson and his team now World Test champions.
Welcome back to the TGIF podcast. Thank God it's footy. Sitting there in your Tigers gear, it's probably not one to start with a bit of small talk. We'll just rip the band-aid off straight away.
Noffa.
Some huge breaking news, Noffa.
Yeah, pretty hideous news, I think, really. Like, I saw, obviously, earlier today, that said, not the talks, obviously the talk's been there for a while, but that article broke there saying that, there was the possibility of him getting an early release, and a bit of a fallout there, obviously. And what are we, probably 25 minutes ago now, official posting there from the Tigers saying that they have released him early from his contract. So Nofaluma, top try scorer, no longer a West Tigers player.
Yeah, I mean, crazy how things have unfolded, I think. Reportedly issued a couple of breach notices around sort of being late to training, attitude maybe, things like that.
I'm pretty sure, attitude.
So, last week we were talking about Benji working his magic. He's
signed the Yanks here.
He's firing another big gun this week.
It's an interesting one, especially, obviously losing Tupou there for 2025. It's not a position that we're too strong in there. But yeah, it's just, Noffa's kind of one of those players synonymous with the Tigers, He's been there for so long. Obviously went away there for a little bit there on loan, has obviously already had his falling outs with the club.
Yeah.
Probably deserves more for his service to the club that he's given. I think he could have very easily gone off earlier, gone and won a premiership somewhere, and scored 24, 25 tries in a season, a premiership winning team, better service, you're going to score more tries. I think, and he probably does deserve a little bit more for his efforts. So I do, as sad as it is, I do wish him well. I hope he goes somewhere and does well, just as long as it's not against the Tigers, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, look, obviously had that, half a season there on loan at the Storm. Couple of years ago now. It's obviously ended very sour, but look, a high quality player and a club that's sort of been sliding down the slope the last few years, that's for sure. And probably time he was sick of it and moved on to maybe greener pastures, somewhere where he can look at picking up a ring.
I'm not surprised at all, though, to be fair. It's I'm not surprised that he's off, but how much of it has been Benji's full doing, and how much of it has been Noffa doing it himself, but it's an interesting one, and not the nicest news. Not nicest news to get today.
Do we think he ends up back at the Storm? I think they've obviously, did they have Coates at the time?
I'm not too sure. Possibly. I think he obviously could go to any of the teams. Really, he's good enough to fit in. I think any of those teams. I don't know where he goes. Storm, possibly. I guess, I haven't had 25 minutes. I haven't had enough time to process this one.
It's
fresh off the boat. Possibly back at the Storm. But I think honestly, he's a try scorer. I think he could slot in on the wing at most teams in the NRL. I'm pretty sure.
Obviously very fresh wounds there for the Tigers fans, but Interesting to see where Noffa ends up. I'm sure there'll be plenty of clubs lining him up. I don't think there'll be too many issues around that behavioural sort of stuff that has been reported. I reckon he might have just sort of been doing it to maybe manufacture this a couple of years early. Obviously, he did have a couple of years left on his contract, but elsewhere, we've seen a little bit of news that won't please the Brisbane fans with Adam Reynolds going down at training.
Yeah, saying he went down like he was shot by a sniper. Yeah. Yeah, an interesting one. It's supposed to be good to go by round 1, but it's not the player you want going down injured, I don't think, in pre-season. That's a huge blow there for the Bronx.
Might be being a bit sceptical, but he has been picking up a few injuries since he has made the move up north.
He's getting on.
He's 33
getting on
now, so the body obviously not as fresh and limber as it once was. But yeah, look, worrying signs for Brisbane potentially. Looking at a 15, 16 game season potentially for Reynolds on the cards. Might have to get a few rests involved.
All depends, obviously, how
might be a bit too many rests, 8 or 9, but
all depends on how the recovery goes. It's Reynolds, I'm sure he'll probably dig it out as much as he can,
Just trying to be a skeptic here.
Yeah. Whether we see
bring up a bit of controversy,
maybe lesser minutes or something like that, possibly, rather than that many rests. But they do have a pretty stacked squad as well, so I'm sure there'll be games there where they can afford to give them a little break. But yeah, big news there coming out of Brisbane. Not one that the fans would have been too stoked to see.
No, definitely not. Other than that, I haven't really seen too much else. Obviously, South's locking up their little backup hooker there, Peter Mamazelis, with a new 3-year deal.
Handy little signing there, to keep him there on the books.
I mean, Cook obviously an 80-minute man most weeks, so interesting to see how they look to transition him. But 3-year deal, it's obviously potentially a nod towards the future.
Yeah, handy young player, I reckon, Mamazelis. So this is a good little signing. But you're right, there hasn't been too much going on. We're now under a month to go until we see some pre-season footy action. I believe it's the weekend of the 19th, I think it was.
Yeah,
which is our first week, or do we start off with the Indigenous?
On the 16th.
16th. So yeah, it's
pre-season on the 15th.
Yeah, we're less than a month away, so there's not long to go now until we do get into a little bit of NRL and do a little bit of rugby league action. Still plenty of round ball going on, and change of fortune for the Gooners, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely what we were after following those 3 losses going into the extended break. 9 days off, whatever it was we had, but it was worth the wait. 5-0. The 2 Gabbies, front and centre of the sort of goal scoring exploits.
Yeah, awesome. Obviously, those first 2 goals there, both thanks to Gabriel's head. First one, a great header, I thought. Did well to get up and above and
climbing well over the top of whoever it was.
I can't remember who it was. But yeah, great header. And then obviously the second one going down as a Henderson own goal. Yeah, another really good header. So it was good to see, obviously. 2 goals, first half. Nice to see. It's a nice start. I like there you've got both the Gabbies and a little Trossard sandwich. All right, Trossard getting in on the action, obviously getting a start, which is good to see as well.
Yeah.
Possibly, I've seen a few things saying that he underplayed.
25 starts for Arsenal, 20 goals and assists in those games.
I think he needs to be involved way more than he does. But yeah, a real good game. 5 goals, a clean sheet. You can't get much better than that. Obviously, 2 goals coming very late on in the piece, but 2 very on Henry-esque goals.
Oh, it was. They were the exact same goal as well.
Lovely. Yeah, 2 lovely finishes from Martinelli. So good for him as well. Get a couple goals under his belt. Good for the confidence.
Yeah, I mean, 5-0, it looks like an absolute hammering. It was a pretty good performance from the Arsenal, but we didn't really have to get it out of second gear, to be fair. Not sure Henderson had even made a save, and they were 2-0 down. So, yeah, pretty, I guess, if you are a Palace fan out there, don't know if we've got too many of them listening, tuning in.
Too many Palace fans out there in the
Don't know if I actually know any Palace fans, so reach out if anyone is listening.
I don't think I've ever
knows a Palace
met
fan.
a Palace fan. I don't think so. I think they're probably fairly hard to come by on these shores here. But yeah, you wouldn't mean too stoked. Pretty dismal defensive display, I thought, from Palace.
Yeah, you can see why there's a lot of pressure on old boy Watson there. 76 years old, and the poor bastard can't catch a break. They seem to be gunning for him. The fans even whipping out some banners.
I did see that, yeah, a couple of banners.
Not so much at home, but more the chairman and the owners and stuff. But yeah, it was pretty dramatic scenes in the last few minutes there for those Palace fans.
I did see that, yeah. It's hard because they started off the season not too poorly, you know. They had some pitches there where they were playing some good footy, but
it's always going to be tough when you lose Wilfred Zaha, who's been their best player for the last 6 or 7 years.
Yeah, big loss, but yeah, just I think it was. I don't think that he would have helped in that game. There, it was defensively. Defensively, they were shocking. They didn't really offer much at all at the back. So it was, like you said, yeah, didn't really have to get out of second gear. It was pretty easy cruise control for the Gooners, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was a bit of cruise control.
Leads us into we don't have a break now. Obviously, we're back into it this weekend. Is it?
Not this weekend. I think it's next Wednesday morning.
Okay, have we got like FA Cup this weekend? Have we?
It must be.
Let's have a little look. See here. FA Cup, yeah. Obviously, no longer involved in the FA Cup. Wednesday morning, 8:30. Damn, that's a bugger. I will officially be back at work there on next Tuesday for a few teacher-only days. So, well, I don't know what we'll be doing there on Wednesday, but I might have to have a little sneaky tab open, having that chugging along, hopefully. Damn, Wednesday, 8:30. That's a bugger. Forest though, at home, I think that's it as well.
At the City Ground.
It's at the City Ground, is it?
Yeah.
It is.
I mean, to be fair, it's another ideal opponent to be facing at the moment. They have turned it around a little bit since old Nuno rolled in. With a couple of results here and there. Woodsy seems to be banging in goals.
Yeah.
You know, a little bit more frequently than we have seen from him in the past, which is always good to see, but you hope it comes to a stop just temporarily.
I hope it just has a little break
90 minutes.
when you're up against Arsenal. Or, you know, he goes out, scores a hat-trick, and maybe, like, we throw a bit of cash at him and somehow, like...
And comes in to Arsenal.
Just to cause a bit of havoc, you know, put a bit of pressure on Jesus and Nketiah to score some goals matching that. Chris Wood at Arsenal. You'd be disappointed, but you couldn't be too disappointed, you know, if that was the striker we went out and got. For us as Kiwi Gooners, you know.
As Kiwi Gooners, you'd be stoked.
But
you'd be loving it.
It's not the striker that we want to be going out to win us the league title.
I think most Arsenal fans have been gunning for, you know, a set of sort of 3 or 4 names there, and don't know if I've heard Chris Wood mentioned.
No, I can't say I have, no.
It would be a bit bizarre, but yeah, look, it's a tough visit, the City Ground. If we want to stay in the title race, we're going to go and keep winning. And like you said, we might have to bring in a number 9, as we've been harping on about for the last few weeks. But 5-0 against Palace. Hopefully we can continue that. Score a few goals without having to bring in the likes of Ivan Toney or Victor Osimhen, because it's looking pretty unlikely unless we sell a few players.
We're definitely going to have to sell someone, I think, to bring a
financial
striker in. Yeah, 100%.
That's what all reports have been saying.
I've seen talk about Cedric. Apparently,
Don't know if we're going to be making huge profit lines.
Don't know if we're making huge profit lines, no, but there could be someone there on the outer. But we're getting late into the transfer window already. What are we, 23rd of Jan? 8 days to go. So you'd think that you'd be starting to. Oh, you're not looking to finalise deals. Deals are never finalised until the last 10 minutes, quite often there. But you'd like to have maybe heard a little bit more positive talk in terms of signing a striker if we were going to be bringing someone in. I don't want to be doing any. We've had some pretty poor January signings over the years. I'd hate to go out there and, I think if we were to sign Chris Wood, he'd go down as a poor January signing. And
hopefully not.
Probably wouldn't be the best thing.
Imagine if Chris Wood came in and fired Arsenal to the title. It would be, Kiwi Gooners couldn't have it much better.
That'd be awesome.
But yeah, like you said, it probably would go down on a little list of worst January signings. Who do you reckon would go on that list? Obviously,
Kim Kallstrom.
We spoke about him with the broken back.
Jesus.
Andre Santos?
Was he a January
I think he was a January signing.
Was he in that? He might have been in that window with, not with Kim Kallstrom.
Was Yossi Benayoun?
Yossi Benayoun was a January
signing?
signing. He was a bit of a shocker. Although he did have, I do remember him playing one game for us where he was just untouchable.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Maybe Scorlacci if he came in January. I don't think he did. I think he might have been at the start of the year. We've definitely had some shockers over the time, but ideally we can go 2 from 2. Back from that little rut, 2 from 2 would be perfect.
Going into Feb, I think our first game of Feb is Liverpool, so yeah, it'd be nice to keep in touch with them. They picked up a big
They're playing well.
Big win.
Even without Salah.
4-0, who needs Salah?
We just got to hope he's injured for a while. I don't
Yeah.
think he was involved in Egypt's game this morning.
Supposedly it's going to be a month.
For Salah, like I said, definitely
So I
wasn't
don't think
involved.
that even changes much the plans if they were planning to have him out sort of through those knockout stages there. Not too sure if Egypt are favourites with him to make it far in the
They
tournament.
drew with Cape Verde this morning 2-2. I was talking to Fred about it. Cape Verde ended up topping their group. I think they've got Bebe.
Bebe
Remember Bebe?
from United.
Scored an absolute screamer.
Is he not Portuguese?
Cape Verde,
Cape Verde, like
kind of one of
Origins,
those
probably.
sorts of jams, yeah. Is Bebe from there, or is he actually?
Is it a different Bebe?
No, it definitely is this Bebe, but I don't see him there. Unless he's got like a different name. I swear he played in the other game though. Scored a screamer. You've got like, you remember Emiliano Nsue? I don't know if I probably butchered that name. Nsue. No, Bebe is there. It must not have played this morning. They ended up topping their group after Ghana drew with Mozambique though. And 2-2 Ghana were up going into the 90th minute. And then they scored in the 91st and the 94th Mozambique to snag a draw. Still not enough to jump ahead of Ghana. And Ghana they're in third though, so they have to be one of the better third place teams to go through. So it's not looking good for them. They'd be one of the favourites, going into the tournament, I'm sure.
Yeah, no Partey though.
Yeah, you're right, no Partey. I
It's a
think
big miss for them.
Nigeria have got a good looking team this time around. But hey, Cape Verde topping their group with Egypt and Ghana. Unbeaten as well, 7 points. So not bad at all from them there. Lots of bat and ball been on over the last 6 days or so. Shout out the Black Clash first of all.
Hell of a game.
Shout out who we have involved in that? The Wakachangi lads, the fucking everyone involved with
The
ACC. It's a hell of an event.
Hauraki lads.
The crowd there in Tauranga put on a show, I think, as well. They were awesome. You could hear them very well. Some pretty cool moments, I think. Probably standout moment for me. You've got it there. Ruben Love's catch over the boundary.
One of the most ridiculous catches I've ever seen. Yeah. Like, he was obviously a cricketer, but he was a wicketkeeper, I'm pretty sure.
Well,
was it not saying that?
I don't know. He was a rugby player. That's all I knew. And obviously
I'm pretty sure he played under 19s for New Zealand
with someone else. Or was that another person that had that coming up?
Boshier played.
It might have been someone else though that had that coming up underneath their name. Played with someone else that played in the thing. Maybe even one of the older people.
Yeah, I mean, like, half of those rugby dudes all
played for something. But that was unreal. That was probably my highlight, I think.
Ridiculous.
Or the old Brian Lowe no ball.
Huge controversy considering his foot was like half a foot behind the line.
That was
very hell of a call. Unusual. Todd Astle, I think it was, making the bold call to
was it?
Chuck the arm out, award the free hit for Brian.
Good on him. And did he not get caught then the next ball? Someone got caught off a free hit, I believe.
Grant Elliott.
Was it Grant Elliott got caught off a free hit?
JT got bowled the next ball after that.
That's right. Yeah.
And so that's kind of controversial because you're not, the new rules of cricket, you're not allowed to cross if it's a catch.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not sure how a free hit
goes.
Goes in that term. Like, it might just be a catch is just basically the same as fielding it, which unlucky JT, but an awesome spectacle.
Very good.
JT getting out there and pumping his first ball down the ground for 4.
Yeah, he was great to see out there. He was really
a little bit of commentary while he was bowling as well. So good.
Ali Williams bowling a ball off the pitch.
Off the pitch, yeah.
I've shout out Ali Williams. I've done that in a game of cricket before. It was a good spectacle. Kieran Reid going out, pumping some runs as well. He's an awesome cricketer. Leo McDonald
scored some runs in the last couple of games, Kieran Reid.
Yep.
He'd be averaging
60,
70
one
runs.
Of the high scorers, I think, of the Black Clash. Probably, who would you say, man of the match, would you say? Maybe Devsich?
Devsich was batting pretty well.
I think he batted very, very well.
I mean, look, few players on Team Rugby did really well. Obviously, the old doubly wobbly threw things out of proportion. You saw, oh shit! All of a sudden, Ruben Love's close to getting a 50 here, or like,
that did make it quite unusual. But just that's the fun of it. It was good. It was
hell of a concept.
It was awesome, and it was lovely because it was sandwiched in between 2 Black Caps 2020s. We had Friday, Eden.
How good? First of all, on the Black Clash, how good was that? Did you make it to the final over? Were you watching?
Possibly not.
Because it was 30 to win off the final over, and you're like, this isn't going to happen. Andy Ellis pumps the first 3 balls for 6. So all of a sudden it's 12 off 3.
Jesus.
And you're thinking, fuck yeah, all they have to do is hit 2 more here. And
I don't think I did see that, to be fair. I did jump on the dartboard for a bit.
Ended up having, I think it was a single, and then ended up falling like 5 runs short. So the scorecard makes it look like a close game, but team cricket pretty
Shout out Andy Ellis, well done.
But a bit of drama in the last over. But you're right, Black Caps.
Friday night,
doing pretty well.
I don't think it was the best of games really. I think we were a little bit lucky. It was the first game there that we hadn't batted first.
Yep, correct.
So it was the first game that we'd gone out and
did we win the toss?
I think we did, and we chose to go out there and have a bowl. Pakistan 100, I think it was 170 possibly in the end, something like 160 something.
Maybe 150, 160.
But
Rizwan did really well,
but yeah,
close to 100, but
nothing like what we'd seen in those first three 2020s.
nah, obviously missed out on seeing too much Fennell and Fireworks. I think he was up third ball.
Yeah, out for 4 maybe 8.
Yeah, pretty sure.
But
maybe
Sunday
it was 4.
Sunday was a catastrophe.
Absolute catastrophe.
Sunday was terrible. I don't know when I tuned in. I rolled around and Jay was watching that, and we might have been 3 wickets down, and I must have left the room and come back in. And every time I came back in, there'd been another wicket for one stage there. It was appalling. I think where Pakistan have only set a total of
130.
Yeah, something really low. And you're thinking, all right, this is a game we're surely
This is the easiest game to win.
Yeah.
You know, you're 4-0 up in the series, no pressure whatsoever.
That might have been where Fernand got 4, possibly.
This game. Yeah, well,
Possibly in this one, I think.
he certainly saved his best for the, was it the second game?
Game 2, I think it was, yeah.
No, game 3. Game 2 he got like 70.
Game 3
Game
was it?
3 was the 100. Yeah, so he deservedly brought home man in the series. I think it was the most runs by a Kiwi in a T20 series ever, so good on the bloke, including the highest ever score for a New Zealander, so hard not to award him.
Yeah, very, very, very well deserved. I think that one there, yeah, obviously the highest score. 16 sixes equal to record, I believe it was. And then probably unlucky not to break that, playing onto his wicket there to get out for that one.
Yeah.
Glenn Maxwell, I saw you talking about this today. He got himself into a bit of trouble over the weekend, did he?
Yeah, supposedly out at a golf day. This is, I guess, what I read. Out at a golf day, and then went to a 6 and Out concert. You know, the band that has like Brett Lee and all those other ex-cricketers. So I went to a concert there. They were playing in Adelaide. He's not in the Test team. But obviously that game ended, but it was due to be day 5. And yeah, reportedly in hospital, Maxwell. So no reports of sort of what happened in between. Most people are sort of leaning towards alcohol related, dehydration, out on the golf course, big day, into a concert, probably 2 big events for a bloke like Glenn Maxwell. You got a nickname like the Big Show, you're probably sinking a few cans at both events, which ending up in hospital, that's it's a sign of a hell of a night on one hand, but interesting to see what comes of it.
Yeah, who knows what's happened, but hopefully he's resting up well, old Maxwell. But yeah, getting himself into a little bit of strife.
The old stomach pump potentially.
Who knows?
I guess you have to wait until the full story drops a little bit later.
Yeah,
but,
dig deeper if you can, do a little bit of your own research. Probably it in terms of the cricket, isn't it? We were back into full swing of things in terms of the darts over the weekend. Now, 8 of the top PDC players headed on over to Bahrain for the Bahrain Darts Masters. Now, we had a little look last week, and I was sort of saying I think most of the, if not all of the 8 will win that first round and make their way through, which they did. Shout out to a couple of the players that are making some very competitive games. We saw a couple of 6-5s there in that first round just to keep it all interesting, but it was an all PDC showdown for the quarterfinals. Now, the man of the hour, Luke Littler, we're going to start with him now. Quarterfinal up against Nathan Aspinall. Starts the match with a 9-darter. Now, right from the get-go, you look at him thinking this kid's got it. People say he doesn't have the bottle. You look at him up on stage, he has got it. Aspinall celebrating with him, loving it. Goes on to beat the Asp up against Gerwyn Price there in the semis. I think he just overcome Luke Humphries. Gerwyn Price, I'm pretty sure. up against Gizzy, reels in a big fish, turns around, reels in the crowd, up against Gillen Price. You're beating him, I think it was 5-2 at that stage. I can't say there'd be too many players out there with the nerve to go out there and do that. You make it into the final, what's your test? Michael Van Gerwen. And what was it? I think it was 8-5, I believe. We watched the winning dart out on the golf course there. So Luke Littler taking his first of many PDC senior titles. I'm sure it'll be one of 30, 40, 50 titles that he will go on to win in his career, I would imagine. Touch wood, I don't want to jinx the bastard, but absolutely unreal. I think he hadn't thrown any darts between the World Championship final and arriving there in Bahrain. I'm sure plenty of FIFA, lots of cans of Coke, lots of cans of Fanta. I'm sure he would have been cruising. But officially 17 as well. He's had his 17th birthday officially.
I did see that.
Officially 17. So, one more year to go and he's off to the pub.
17 going on 37.
Yeah, we'll see how the Bears add to his darting ability. I believe they're off to the Netherlands this weekend, the Toto Dutch Darts Masters. I believe it is, I think, what are we, it'll be the 29th on the Sunday, it must be this weekend. I believe it's the same, a similar format there. I think it is, again, the top 8. So, who knows whether we see Luke Littler taking another one. I know that the Masters is the week after, I think, or the start of February, and he's not involved in that one. I think you have had to won something through. I'm not too sure exactly how it works. I just know he's not involved in the Masters, but in the Netherlands, I'm sure he'll be probably up there, one of the favourites to go on and take it out. I know I had a look at something there that he was in, and he's already second favourite, tied with MVG, I think. So to already be up there in terms of the expectations, it's pretty crazy. But good luck to him this weekend. Hopefully goes out there and takes another dub.
Good on the bloke. 17 years old, ripping it up. Claimed the title when he was still 16, so hell of an effort.
Well done, exactly. Yeah, big well done to the Littler. Probably wraps up another little small episode throughout the summer season. As always, if you've made it this far, thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Remember to give us a like, a comment, a 5-star, subscribe to the potty. Enjoy your week ahead. Enjoy whatever sport you may be getting involved in. If you're having a punt, do so responsibly, and hopefully we'll see you here next week.
Yeah, sounds good to me. We'll see you then.
Ciao.
Marshall skips away. Marshall's still going. Marshall's got Richards coming up outside. Now inside.
Arsenal have gone through an entire league campaign without losing.
Bennett and the Dragons win the grand final.
Whips that one away, and Kane Williamson and his team now World Test champions.